Very important factor this summer is obviously taking care of the largest organ, your skin, wearing sunblock. But Sonal, can you tell us, what do you know? What is PA, UVA, SPF? What do you think these things actually stand for?
Well, I don't think a lot of us understand what they stand for. We end up going to the supermarket or to the chemist and buying the one which has maximum coverage, right? But why don't we ask about this to an expert as well?
Yeah, even I don't have all the answers. I'm asking you that. But let's bring our next guest in. Dr. Dipali Bhardwaj is with us. She is a dermatologist.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Dipali.
Hello.
Welcome to the Breakfast Club. I quickly want to understand, all of us when we go to buy sunscreen, it looks something like this. It has something called an SPF, it has PA+++, it has UVA, UVB. Now there are too many things to really keep in account. So what should one be really looking at? If you're buying a sunscreen, what should the label really be saying?
Interestingly, Sonal, today the market is so much flooded with these kind of products, and these are all a gimmick as per a dermatologist like me to sell a product more costly. PA stands for protection factor. SPF we know is the sun protection factor. PA++ is just like a gradation system. Ideally for Indians, sunscreen has to be anything above SPF 26. And of course, if you are in snow and if you are in water, that means if you're in a swimming pool or a beach holiday, you need to reapply the sunscreen more number of times. And also, most important factor is that you always buy a cosmeceutical product, with which I mean sunscreen which has the potency to block both UVA and UVB in this current scenario where there is pollution and greenhouse. So in short, a sunscreen which is from a company which is a cosmeceutical product, SPF 26, and the right quantity, which is a game changer on applying sunscreen, the right quantity of the sunscreen has to be applied.
Doctor, can you also tell us, is it entirely the same for men and women? When we're putting the cream, are there parts of our body that we need to be more careful of? Just bring us that context.
Yes, actually it's the same thing for both men and women. Of course, men are not that diligent and they generally just, gisso kind. They just go, splash on their face and they will not be so gentle, is what I have seen in my experience as a practicing doctor. But overall their skin is also rough, so it doesn't really matter because of shaving and even for the body. But if they can be slightly gentler, is better. Talking about the quantity of sunscreen, like our finger has a instrument which is 3 boxes. So 1.5 fingertip unit, this is the right quantity of sunscreen application, which has to be applied 15 minutes before going in the sun. So if you buy a sunscreen worth 1000 or 200 rupees, it doesn't matter to me. How much quantity you are applying, if it is SPF 26 above, and it's a cosmeceutical product, with which we mean it has certain agents which will block all UVA, UVB and UVC and protect us against skin cancer, which is definitely on the rise.
Yeah, but doctor, tell us, what about kids then? Should we apply the same 1.5 sort of box formula even with the kids?
See, definitely even children today need a sunblock because of the pollution and the air and the waves. And but their sunscreen will be different. For them, I just like zinc bentonite, which is not at all a chemical, which is very nice. It's a skin soothing lotion which we use all the time. And so zinc bentonite can be applied for kids. And of course, above 12, they have to wear a sunscreen properly. But I'm talking about children, pedia group, from 5 to 12. Interestingly, AAD, which is like the world's global standard, American Academy of Dermatology, claims and states that sunscreen in children has to be started at the age of 3 years. But I have never advocated and advised any of my patients for that, because India still is luckily behind in the skin cancer race at a global level. But definitely zinc bentonite or even our plain and simple aloe vera gel is excellent for protecting kids against the harsh sun rays and the heat wave. So they can just apply that, and that should be enough.
And doctor, what about the reapply question? Sometimes you read that you should reapply it every 2 hours, every 4 hours. Does that even change based on the SPF? Like if one is getting a SPF 50, can they wait longer before reapplying it? How does that work?
Well, that's a great question, and honestly, these are gimmicks only to sell products more expensive. Any sunscreen SPF 26 above needs to be reapplied after every 3 hours. A higher SPF is not going to help you that you've just applied it and you're done for the day. These are, just selling products more costlier. These are just methods in that way as per a doctor like me, because scientifically it has not been proven. And interestingly, if a woman is wearing makeup also these days, there are powder sunscreens. Men, if they are lazy to reapply sunscreen, they can just maybe apply even aloe vera gel, because men are more, accustomed to using lights and camera, laptops, computer screens. Even that is emitting rays. And even men, boys and girls today, everybody is using phone all the time. So even that's giving radiation. So if you really don't want to have premature aging, pigmentation, skin cancer, and actually aging on your face, then sunscreen is the way to go.
Okay. Doctor, thank you. So, doctor coming in there with a strong endorsement for sunscreen. She's saying even aloe vera is good. She's also suggested what younger kids can use for us. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here on